it's not the only game we're talking about. There's going to be a double header, and after it finishes in Mumbai, as the sun sets and it becomes a little less hot and humid down south in Chennai, it's going to be Hyderabad against Delhi. Yes, Delhi, they're still around. They've had a break for 6 games. And just in case you've forgotten all about them, they're coming storming back, the men from the north. So Delhi versus Hyderabad, they've not had the worst start. They've almost had a kind of scenario where they wanted to keep on winning ways. But one personnel change we'll have to confirm to all of you before we look at the teams is that Natarajan has officially been ruled out of the entire tournament. And that's going to be a bit of a blow because we know what a match winner he can be, Simon.
Yeah, it's a real tough blow for Natarajan. I think that he's a hard man to replace, and not only up front or in the early overs when he said he doesn't tend to use the new ball too much, but the middle slower surfaces, Chennai has really suited him. But just the Yorkers, I mean, he is. I think I'll put him down along with Bumrah as the best Yorker bowler. I think that I've seen for a little while. He fires them in as good as anyone, and a left armer. He gives you that great option at the back end. So he's going to be a massive loss for them.
Yep. Let's just, if we can, before we have a look at the team, since we had a look at the schedules, if we can get the schedules, which obviously includes their victories and losses so far, that just puts things in perspective. And I think if you have a look at Hyderabad, it'll be very important what happened on the 21st of April. They were the only team who was pointless. Sounds like a strange word to say it when you put it like that, but without points, shall we say. And then those 2 points that they got against Punjab was so critical, not just for the 2 points, the manner in which they got them. So for Hyderabad, Joy, those 2 points on the board, they'll have a very different mindset coming to that Sunday night fixture.
Yeah, also what they've done is that they've now got Abhishek Sharma in as a bowler, okay? And the kind of overs he's giving means he's going to play. Definitely he's going to play. Do they back Vijay Shankar? Does Manish Pandey still stay out? And is Samad supposedly has a niggle. At some point, does he find a way back as well? Because they played Kedar Jadhav. He didn't do too much for them. He didn't need to last time because, the top order got things going. But what is going to happen to this team? All this team now needs to do is settle down. I think Abhishek Sharma, if he keeps giving them overs, is a huge plus for them. Because it gives them that extra spinner. It also means they can play Kane Williamson then. Because he's giving them more with the ball than other spinners are giving them right now. And that means that the whole team composition, this team with 2 batsmen with, Bairstow, Warner and Kane Williamson is a very different proposition than a team with just 2 of those guys and a Nabia Holder and Rashid Khan.
I think just the fact that Joyce just mentioned so many international players in one breath almost means that the one problem of all the 8 franchises, if you had to single out one who are sitting and scratching their heads about the 4 foreigners, it's got to be Hyderabad.
Yeah, it is. Look, it's a tough decision. What Kane Williamson brought to them in the last game was just some calmness. Johnny Bairstow has been sensational. He really is a terrific player. And David Warner has been, for the most part, a little bit circumspect in the early parts of this tournament. He's looked to try and play that anchor role, but he's ended up getting out, almost at the wrong time on a few occasions, which certainly hasn't helped. Williamson just brings that calm nature. It kind of captains the side, for want of a better term as well. I mean, David Warner's, when he's not playing, he's always at long on or long off talking to David Warner. He's Warner's sounding board when he's on the field. I think he makes David Warner feel a little calmer out in the middle as well. And I applaud them for dropping Manish Pandey. I mean, look, that needed to happen. We've shown his numbers. Everybody knows his numbers. He needed to know that he was not indispensable. He may come back later in the piece and he may perform well. He may do a job, but I actually applaud them for doing that. That's, it's not an easy thing to drop a high profile, in and out Indian player, but it's not an easy call to make. They made it. I think it was the right one.
So that's what we feel, gentlemen, as far as the composition goes. A little harsh on Jason Holder, who was so good when he did play, but obviously someone had to make way to allow Kane Williamson to come in. Rashid keeps his place, as do Warner and Bairstow. So Nabi, Mujib and Jason Holder have to make way for the moment. What about the opposition? What about Delhi? Once again, as far as they were concerned, they've had losses, they've had wins, but they will again want to get that momentum from the 2 wins that they've got, back-to-back wins against Punjab and Mumbai. I mean, I think that's the one. If we look again at April the 20th, Simon, it will not only be a good win, but it will be a good win against a team that they'd lost a whole bunch of matches against before that.
Yeah, a real morale boosting win, and it's a double morale boost for them because I think they get their X factor player back as well in Akshar Patel, and to me, he is a guy that sort of molds the middle order around him. He can win you a game with the bat, which we've seen in the last couple of years. He'll bowl you 4 overs, and in Chennai he's going to be crucial, and possibly later on in the tournament as well. So he comes back into that 7 position, I think 6, 7, depend. It doesn't really matter because they've got such a strong middle to lower order. I think that he could almost bat anywhere in that lineup. And Anrik Nortje, do they bring him back in as well? I've been impressed with Avish Khan. So what they're getting, Avish Khan is keeping Ishant Sharma out of the side, Umesh Yadav out of the side. So that's been a great thing for them. Stoinis winning them a game, confidence that brings as well. I think they can do without Steve Smith, and I really do. I think their batting is so strong they can do without Steve Smith, and they can bring Akshar and Nortje into that lineup.
Yeah, you're not touching Amit Mishra at the moment, the way he's bowled. So you keep these guys in there. So maybe Lalit Yadav makes way if you're trying to sneak Akshar in, Joy?
Yeah, that's my worry because Lalit Yadav has been playing beautifully as well. And he's just been such a confidence booster. So, I mean, you're right. That will be a dream combination. See, Chennai pitch, it's possible as well. You play Akshar, you play Amit Mishra, okay? You play Lalit Yadav, okay? You play 2 international fast bowlers, and you're done. You don't need the extra Indian seamer. Maybe you drop Avesh Khan, and you go full. I mean, you go with 2. Because see, if you need that 3rd seamer, you have Stoinis to come and give you a few overs. You have Stoinis to come in and say, okay, I'm going to bowl a few. Because if you do that, that's this team, you cannot drop Amit Mishra at this point in time. And on Chennai, see, you may not play him in any other pitch. You may not pay him after you leave Chennai. But till you're in Chennai, Amit Mishra, you wake him up at 2 o'clock in the morning and throw him the ball and say, you're going to bowl the Chepauk, and he'll say, oh, fine, no problems at all.
Well, it's just, I think, just to conclude on Delhi, Simon, like we said with Hyderabad, if you've left somebody like Chris Woakes out, it means you've got some depth in that bench.
Yeah, it does, and I couldn't agree with that. That when they dropped Chris Woakes and played Steve Smith, I just couldn't agree with it. He'd been one of their better players in the early parts. He'd been a little bit unlucky. I know he's probably not offering what they would want with the bat, but I just think he's one of those players that he will always give 100%, and he'll always pick a wicket or 2 up front. But if they replaced him with Nortje, I get it, absolutely 100%. But replacing him with Smith just didn't make much sense to me.